And
And
we
I'm
are
doing
back
good.
to Football No Filter. I am your host, Brun Krak. I am with my two co-hosts, Jorginho and João Mario. That's right, João Mario. He flew in from Portugal to do the podcast with us. João Mario, how are you today?
Very good, very good. I think I came in very late into the game. I think if I played from the start, we would have won by 4. But, a win is a win.
And Jorginho, aka CR7, how are you?
What's going on? What's up?
Estás mais aliviado?
Do quê?
Ganhaste?
For Portugal or Benfica? What are you talking about?
Portugal, and you scored 2 goals.
Yeah, the best in the world.
The best in the world. Very good. All right, so we're gonna make this fast. For everyone that's out there, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you subscribe because we got to pay some bills, right? João Mario,
Absolutely.
we got to
Like,
pay
these
some
divorces
bills.
ain't cheap. So,
Cable's getting expensive, so let's get going. I'm gonna go read the schedule real quick. We're gonna go through round four: Belenenses 1, Moreirense 1, Estoril 2, Marítimo 1. Vizela 1, Boa Vista 1, Porto 3, Arouca 0, Famalicão and Sporting drew 2-2, Benfica 2, Tondela 1, Braga and Guimarães in a very emotional 0-0 draw, Santa Clara 1, Gil Vicente 0, Portimonense 0, Paços Ferreira 1. Huge win for Paços Ferreira. The table looks as Benfica is now in first, Porto and Sporting and Estoril are tied in second with 10. Boa Vista and Braga are tied in fifth. Gil Vicente, Paços Ferreira, Portimonense sixth, were 6 points. Guimarães with 5. Marítimo, Santa Clara, Vizela 4. Tondela, Oroca 3 points. Moreirense is 16th with 2. Famalicão and Belenenses, the surprising 1 point down at the bottom. George, I'm going to start with you real quick. Are you concerned about Belenenses, Famalicão, and Moreirense at the moment?
No, I mean it's too early. I'm concerned. I mean they have sucky teams, um, but it's again. I think it's too early. You're talking about 4 or 5 points to go in to the middle of the table. So I think it's early.
Okay. Same situation with you, Nelson. Any commentary down at the bottom
yeah, I think we touched on that
last week, right?
last week. I mean, I think, listen, I think these teams need to start getting some points. If they don't start getting some points soon, and I'm not talking about ties, from like on tied, I'm talking about getting a couple wins, 3 points, because a few more weeks like this with no wins and a tie here, a tie there, and then I definitely think they have to start getting very worried.
Okay. Just real. I want to touch on this one team because they in the market they were very active yesterday. Sturiel, George, is this a team that you are liking right now going into this 3 months of open or closed market?
Well, 10 points, 10 points out of possible 12. This is one of the teams that we this is one of the teams that we discussed before that has the backing of a player agency from Brazil. They're the ones that Trafic, I believe, they're the ones that own the club. So we're not talking about any um, unknown players or players. Not, they might be unknown, but players that have no quality. They bring a lot of players from Brazil. A lot of players that have a history of playing for top tier teams in Brazil. Um, so I like it, but they gotta play against the big boys still, and see if they get any results from them for me to uh, give them more credit than they deserve.
Okay. Same question for you, Nelson. Are you pretty impressed with this team thus far?
Listen, it's a very good start by them. Last year we talked about that the magic number is 34,
Right.
and they already got 10, 4 games into the season. So I mean, they're 2 weeks from now they play Sporting at home. I think that'll be a very good game for them. Hopefully, I can watch that game. I'll be in Portugal, and no, great start by them. Very, very impressed.
Okay. So we're gonna move forward. We're gonna just go right into it. First team that was in action was Porto. Porto hosted Aroca. I will read the lineup real quick. It was Diogo Costa, João Mario, Pep, Mbemba, Marcano, Otávio, Costa, Uribe, Diaz, Martinez, and Taremi. For Aroca, it was Ribeiro, Tales, Basso, Velasquez, Quaresma, Moreira, Silva, Bukia, Valderrama, Arsenio, and André. I think Porto started off very weak. Aroca didn't do anything offensively for the majority of the game. Porto scored when they had to. It was a very good goal by Uribe and on a nice play. They got a goal 10 minutes later. I know there's probably going to be some debate. Was it a foul? Not a foul. And then the third goal came. I don't think this was a result that anyone could question that it was fair and or unjustified. At the end of the day, it was Porto getting the 3 points. Nelson, anything you have to say about this?
No, I didn't get to watch the game. I just saw the highlights. But I mean, 3-0. How can you question the game? You know what I mean? Even if people are talking about the second goal, which I don't. I think it's fine. It's 3-0. I mean, nothing to say much there. And just
Okay.
impressed with João Mario. This guy's playing for Porto, Benfica, and the national team. It's crazy.
He turns black, he turns white. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Impressive.
George, anything to say about this game?
No, I mean it was a good game by Porto. Game that they should have win, and they were able to get their get their points. So no, nothing major.
I don't think that Roca is very good. They did not get Romario Baró on loan. Sturil actually got him, and I think that's going to hurt them even more. They lack quality in that midfield. They lack quality on that team overall. I think this is a team that's going to be a candidate to drop if they don't get something, because this team is not looking good right now. We'll move forward. Famalicão Sporting. It was Junior and goal, Figueiras, Penetra, Riccielli, Lima, Piquel, Ivo Rodrigues, Jaime Rodrigues, and Paulo. For Sporting, it was Adani, Inácio, Coates, Fedal, Esgaio, Palhinha, Mateus, Nunes, Pot, Paulinho, and Cabral. Nelson, go ahead right ahead, man.
So, I mean, I thought Sporting started well. Pot missed a goal that he normally doesn't miss. And then Sporting completely disappeared. Famalicão did a great job. I don't want to take away from what Sporting did. I got to give credit to Famalicão. They played a hell of a game. Paulinho continues to disappoint. Had a chance to win the game, didn't. Had another chance, didn't score. And just like I mentioned about Benfica last time, Sporting is the same thing. We can't score with the guys up front. We have no killer instinct. But Sporting played bad. Horrible game. By far the worst game I've seen them play in a while. And if Famalicão won that game, I would not be upset at all. Like I would give it to them. I don't think we played good at all.
Throughout the entire game.
I thought we started good. I thought we started good for first 10 minutes, and I think we played good the last 15 minutes. But we were chasing the score.
Right.
So between the 10th minute and the 65th minute, the 75th minute, we did nothing. Horrible.
Okay. Moving forward to George, any commentary about this game?
No, I mean you look at the stats and it's I think the tie is justified. You got almost the same amounts of shots. You have the same amount of shots on target. Sporting had more possession, which is understandable. But Sporting really didn't do much to deserve the 3 points. I don't think. Once you fall behind against these teams, same thing that happened with Benfica. It makes it really difficult to come back. It's already difficult as is because the teams close down. once they find themselves in with the lead, it's even worse. But like Nelson said, I think it's one of the worst games that Sporting has played under Ruben Amorim, if not the worst.
Okay. Ivan Jaime, any commentary, Nelson, about him? Because I know he had a very strong performance. He was a guy that I was surprised no one came to pick up in the open market right at the end.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. A very good player. I'm surprised also, and it's crazy that we're talking about Famalicão producing these good players. You know what I mean? Like Sporting already got two of them, and I wouldn't mind having this guy either. This guy's a very good player.
George, do you like another player that was linked to Porto? Actually, was Ivo Rodrigues, who was a former academy player. Was he a player that you thought that stood out in this game?
I think he had a good game. I think Famalicão, there's 2-3 players in Famalicão that had good games. And like Nelson said, I mean, Famalicão's they're bringing these players up, they're selling them. I think they should be formerly Sporting's B team, because all the players that they raise, Sporting goes out and buys them with their famous 6.5 million euros for 50% of the pass. So I think they but yeah, I think Famalicão is doing a good job with bringing up these players and look, again, this year was another one of those years that we thought that they were going to with losing
A half of their roster.
half of the roster, that they were going to hurt, and they have hurt in the beginning of the season.
In their defense, they've played Porto and
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
so
So that's what I was going to say. And that's why I'm saying that it's too early, because like Famalicão, for example, like you said, they played two of the big 3-4 teams right off the bat. So what are they going to do against these bottom half teams? That's the question. And if they do what they did against Sporting, I think they have a really good shot to have a pretty easy year.
Okay, let's move forward to Benfica and Tondela. Benfica's Vlaco Dimos, Almeida, Veríssimo, Vertonghen, Grimaldo, Pizzi, Meite, João Mário, Everton, Ramos, and Nunes. For Tondela's Nias, Gonçalves, Quaresma, Cassef, Almeida, Undabarre, Augusto, Pedro, Borges, Agra, and Anjos. George, I know that you guys were losing for a while. You must have been sweating for a little bit there. But were you ever worried that you weren't going to get the full 3 points?
Yeah, I mean, I was worried. Coming off one of those. So I was worried because of two things. Historically, if you look at the last couple of years, 2-3 years, Benfica always has a difficult time coming out of European League games. Right, so they play a European League game in the middle of the week. They always have a hard time on the weekend. Number two, historically, you look at the last couple of years, Benfica always does. There's always surprising scores, let's say, before Porto Sporting games. Always, games that that we need to win before one of these Porto Sporting games, and we always seem to choke, you could say. So I was worried about that. Then obviously, there's changes that have to be made in the lineup, especially after a game like the PSV game, where you played almost, what was it, 60 minutes, 55 minutes with 10 players. So naturally, if it was 11 versus 11, you're going to have changes in the lineup. 11 versus 10 for 55 minutes, even more changes in the lineup. Granted, Benfica has way better squad than any Tondela or anything like that. So it's not an excuse. But again, one of those games that Benfica's. I think Benfica was doing a really good job at the beginning of the game. Then they go up once and they score a goal that you can consider either a really good goal because the ball just went in the only spot that it could go from that angle, or you could say that it was a front from Blanco Dimas. Either or. But I think that the coach JJ, in the second half, another surprising move. He usually doesn't make any changes right off the rip at halftime, and in this game he did make the changes. And you could see right away that there was a change. Again, naturally, a team like Tondela, they're running, and their work output is going to decrease in the second half against a team like Benfica. But I think with the changes that Jorge Jesus made right off the rip at halftime, it accelerated that desgaste, you could say. And then you put a player in like Rafa, and then Gilberto even on the right hand side. When Gilberto went in, you're playing against against players that already have 70, 80 minutes in their legs. It's different, right? So I like the score. They don't really like the exhibition, but again, it's something that I was already counting on coming off of a European League game. Not you know what I mean? European game.
Nelson, anything to add to what George? Because George was pretty detailed. I mean, I know that he was probably ecstatic that Gilberto scored. We all know that that George loves Gilberto.
Yeah.
So, any commentary on that?
Well, for somebody that the house is flooding, that was a long ass explanation. Holy shit, took 20 minutes.
It's not my house. So
I almost took a nap and shit. Listen, for a while I was all happy. I pensava que ia dançar o Tondela, mas listen, Tondela did nothing. They the one time they went there, they scored, like George said. They were winning 1-0, but then they were able to hold on to the score for a long time. Benfica continues to struggle with the strikers, like we mentioned before.
Right.
I mean, right now Gonçalo Ramos is on pace to score 0, which is. I mean, listen, no, I shouldn't laugh because he's on the same pace as Paulinho. So you know what I mean. But it's pretty bad. And listen, Benfica scored, tied the game, and then late in the game scored 2-1. But I mean, they definitely they're missing a lot of chances. That's a team that's still missing a lot of chances up front. The strikers just cannot get the ball in the net, and a couple of them were very close range. So good win for Benfica. I mean, they're in first place, and João Mari is actually playing real well. I'm not going to sit here. I thought he was going to suck big time this year, but the guy's actually playing pretty well. And a good win for Benfica. They're in first place right now, and they know that Porto Sporting, at least one, if not both, are losing points next game.
All right, just rapid answer real quick, George. Is João Mario being the success of João Mario, is it more because he's familiar with Cavaleira's system, or is it more because he's more comfortable in the Portuguese league?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's we all know that João Mario's pace is not a very fast one. He likes to control the pace of the game, and in the Portuguese league you can do that easily, or easier I should say. And then obviously there's no adjusting period, right? Because he knows the coach, he knows exactly what the coach asks of a player like him. They've worked together for a few years already at Sporting. His best year was actually under Jorge Jesus. So I think it's a little bit of both. But any player that has the quality of João Mario, are you going to see more of his quality in Portugal? Or are you going to see more of his quality in England or somewhere else? I think being that it's in the Portuguese league, it helps a little bit.
Nelson, I mean, do you contribute João Mario's success to the system? Is it because the league is not as strong? What is your opinion?
You asking me, Bruno,
Yes.
about João Mario?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a fact. That he knows the Portuguese league well. I mean, he can play in it, and I think he fits well in the Benfica system. I really do, and he's very confident right now, which is pretty good for him. And I'm starting to think maybe it was a Lampion all this time without us knowing.
All right, we're gonna move. We're gonna move
Yeah, let's
through
move
the transfer market. I'll start with you, Nelson. You were the most active. You saw Nuno Mendes leave to PSG. You got Saravia, right?
Saraiva.
Saraiva. He's going to be coming in. Are you satisfied or not so much?
Listen, if somebody had to go, I would rather Nuno Mendes go than
I think
losing.
you've said that. I think you've said
than
that.
losing Pot or Palhinha. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think I'm happier with that than if we lost one of the other guys. I think Vinagre is a good player also. So I think losing him was, listen, it's 7 million right now. And the only reason they didn't pay the 47 million is because they couldn't. But they already gave him a 5-year contract, which means most likely they will pay next year. You know what I mean? Nobody gives somebody a 5-year contract if they don't plan on keeping him. You know. So I think it was just a way because of the UEFA whatever fair play crap. Listen, the kid, not kid, he's 29 years old. He's been in the Spanish national team. He's actually, he was in the last Euro. He's a good player. And I think he'll be good for us. I think if he's not injured, because I know he's been injured a couple games. If he's not injured, I think he can do real well in the Portuguese league. The guy got talent. He's definitely got talent. He played for Sevilla. I know he played a little bit for Real Madrid. He's played in the national team. Listen, you don't go to the Spanish national team if you're a scrub. I mean, simple as that. And so the guy can definitely play. So I think he'll help. But I still think we're missing a couple players. Now we need another left back. I don't know what we don't have really a backup. So I think we short players like you've touched on that before, Bruno. But listen, I'm not dissatisfied. Like I was also getting a little concerned about Nuno Mendes getting injured like every couple months lately. So listen, am I going to miss him? Probably, because I think he proved today that he belongs to start on the left side of the national team. I think he's got to take Guerrero out of there. But yeah, I'm going to miss him. But I think it's a good deal for Sporting. I really do. We need the money. And if we're going to lose somebody, I'd rather lose him than lose any of the other guys.
And I think you have a competent backup in Vinagre. I think Vinagre is a guy that will fill in. And I mean, is he going to make you forget Nuno Mendes? I would say no, but you'll think he'll do a pretty decent job.
The only other thing I would have tried to do would be probably include Paulinho in the package and get back Mbappe.
That's what you would have done.
That's what I would have done if I was the president.
Okay. George, your club was very active, more unloading players, mainly on loan. Anyone that you were satisfied to see go? Anyone that was there that you saw, man, I think we should have kept him?
No, look, I think we needed to unload players. We have way too many players under our salary sheet. The player that that I didn't like to see leave last year, and I didn't like to see leave this year. 2 players. So, number 1, Florentino. I don't know why. A player that 2-3 years ago, you turned down like 40 million from AC Milan, I guess, or something like that, and now you're pretty much giving him away. And then the other player that I really didn't see leaving, didn't like to see leave, and I just don't agree with I just didn't agree with the way that he was forced out. For me, was Samaris. Players like Samaris, like Fedja. You don't just use them and
Smart
throw
way.
them away the way Benfica did. I think they have to be treated with a little bit more respect. Especially a player like Samaris. He knows how to speak better Portuguese than Jorge Jesus. He feels the shirt that he wore for so many years. I don't think you push him out the way you did, especially knowing that he's coming off an injury. Give him the time to recoup and get into a good physical shape, and wait until January and see if in January, until January, if he's able to help the team or not. Um, uh, you know, just just little things. It reminds me of Real Madrid and how Real Madrid treats their their past legends like uh, Raul, Pepe, Casillas, Sergio Ramos. Like, use them, throw them away. You're 33 years old. Goodbye.
Out.
We're not giving you any more contracts. We're not giving you more than a year contracts, and I just don't like that way of doing business.
Yeah, but at the same time, this day and age, these players, man, if they get a chance to go make more money, they are not faithful to the teams either. So
Well, I don't know about all players. Somebody's and look,
Right.
Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. Cristiano Ronaldo could be somewhere making 100 million a year. Look, news came out that Messi, they offered him a billion with a B for 2 years in Qatar.
It's definitely busy. I mean, I personally for Porto, I was very disappointed that we weren't able to move some players, namely Corona. I've said it before on my TV show that I do that Sergio Oliveira was one of those guys that if he left, I would understand and I think it would be good, but I also would be good if he stayed. So I'm okay with him staying. I was okay with him departing. The one Mabimba, I'm a little concerned about because he's ending his contract in January. He can sign for free anywhere he goes. I believe there's a verbal agreement to stay. So we'll see if he's going to resign. That's the rumor.
hello.
Yeah, we're here, you bud. No, and the two guys, Diogo Costa, I think is going to be returning, and I think he'll be resigning. Fabio Vieira is the one that I'm very very worried about not returning, and he all four of them are the ones that are have to renew their contracts. If they're not, then it's going to be a problem. Yes, Brian just mentioned Zaidu. Zaidu is another player that I think that just and Manafa and Nanu were the three guys that I was hoping that Porto would move somehow, some way, and it was not able to do it. So I think overall this has been an issue. I don't know what's going on with Porto and their side that they can't. I mean, the last couple of years, it's been players leaving for free, and I don't know what their philosophy is. I don't know what's going on, and it's very puzzling.
We traded a
Yeah,
player, Porto and Sporting. You know that, right?
Yeah, we recovered, or we lost. I think his name is Mario Cruz. If I'm not, his last name is Cruz. I don't remember if it was Mario Marco. And we got Rodrigo Fernandes out of it. Let's be honest. Rodrigo Fernandes was at best a B team player for Sporting. He'll be joining Porto as a basically a B team player. Sporting got a better prospect, in my opinion, when they got a U19 captain. It doesn't make sense these type of deals that Porto's doing. We lost two players to Sporting in the offseason, both promising players. Not saying that they're going to be, starters, but they definitely have more promise than what we've gotten. And it's horrific negotiations by Porto ever since 2013. Brian Net was saying 4 to 5 years. It's been since 2013. So you're looking at 8 years of this going on. it's I just don't understand what is going on. Yes, we're investing in the academy players, but now they're about to leave, some of them for free. We were able to loan out Diogo Leite to Braga, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, that's like loaning Diogo Leite to Sporting or Benfica. Why would we do that against a contender? You're going to loan out one of your center backs? Yes, there's a clause of 12 million euros. Braga's not paying 12 million euros. Sorry. It's just not going to happen. So it makes no sense, that deal. And that's that. And look at David Pereira said that Braga won't pay 12 million. Of course they won't pay 12 million. He can have the best season, they won't pay 12 million. It's not
Yeah,
happening.
that's one thing I don't get, Bruno. Like, you loan players to Estoril, Famalicão, Portimonense. Fine, I get that. They're not gonna be up there fighting with you. But how can you loan players to like the top four teams? Like, I don't get that. I really didn't get that one either.
I
I just don't get why they, Porto just holds on to these players. Corona is leaving again. He's going to leave. He's going to leave, and I don't know. To me, it's you don't get the money that you want, but any money is better than zero.
yes.
That's what I mean. Any money, like, if you
It's
are
like
gonna-
this Mbappe deal that Real Madrid offered over 200 million. I could understand that deal not going through because these guys from Qatar, to them, 200 million, it's a hole in the floor and oil for 30 days, and there's their 200 million. So to them it's more about pride. No, you're not taking my player when you want it. If you want to take him, you're going to take him in our terms. And so it's more about pride than the money. They don't need the money. Money to them is like water to us. You know what I mean? So I understand those deals, but like 10 million for Corona, 12 million for Corona. Sevilla was after him, Milan was after him. Dude, and why do you wait until the last year of their contract? Haven't you learned from Herrera, from
Reyes,
I mean,
Brahimi.
what do you
But why not?
I don't get it.
I would have taken half of that. I would have taken 5 million. At least get something.
Something.
I understand the pride, all that. Shit, I would have traded for Heineken. Get rid of Corona, bring in Heineken, whatever. But like, we just letting these players go for free just sucks, man. Like, we invested so much in these players, between salaries and all that crap, and then losing them for nothing, it just really sucks.
Terrible. It's been terrible, and I don't understand. And I think there's going to be some issues at the end of the season if we don't have a productive Champions League. If we don't have a season where we're going to be winning some titles, there's going to be issues, a lot of issues with Porto. In my opinion, I strongly believe that. All right, let's move quickly to the national team because the water levels are rising over here. I'll start with you, Nelson. I know you suffer heavily for the national team, and you were beside yourself. You probably drank more Jameson than Jameson as fast as Jameson can manufacture. Go ahead, talk to me about the game.
Like you just mentioned, listen, I'm a big fan of the national team. I don't miss a game when they play. Like, I'm just a big fan. I can't watch these guys anymore. I don't know what they do. Listen, I don't want to talk about every player because that'll take too long, but I'll talk about one player, Ronaldo. Here's the thing. Listen, I'm a big fan of Ronaldo. I don't think I know for a fact he's not the same player he once was, but at the same time, he's the only one with killer instincts. Now, if you want Ronaldo to play the entire game, to me, you wouldn't even play the entire game anymore. You would come in off the bench, actually. But if you want him to play the entire game, the guy's got to play in the box only. Forget moving him around. Forget putting Jota in the box. Forget putting other people in the box. Let him be in the box by himself. When this guy is coming back to grab balls, when this guy is going to the wing to grab balls, it's a waste. He no longer has the pace. He no longer has the dribbling. He no longer can shoot from far away. It's like every shot is either a player 3 miles away from the net. This guy is a star, a great player, probably my favorite player ever, but he's got to be in the box only. I'm tired of watching him not be in the box. And once again, we needed goals. He's in the box. He scores the 2 goals to give us the win. So he keeps shutting up the critics, but this guy cannot. I mean, he's got to be in the box. That's it. Just like Pauletta was just a box player, that's what this guy has to be. He cannot be leaving the box. He's got to stop taking free kicks. I know he doesn't want to. I know he probably will never let that go. But listen, every free kick is either the wall, the one that the goalie defended today that everybody's like, great save. It's not a great save. That's the one side where the wall wasn't that the guy was protecting it.
Right.
So, I mean, he's supposed to make that save. You know,
Right.
So listen, stop. You know, penalties, listen, he missed a penalty. Everybody misses penalties. But free kicks, I would definitely take that away from him. And he's got to stay in the box. And listen, Bruno Fernandes, another horrible game.
Yeah.
Pepe, another great game. I think Nuno Mendes needs to play. I think the kid needs to play. I don't think Guerrero had a good game.
He wasn't hurt.
No, he played. He came in.
He wasn't injured because the majority of the Sporting players were all injured. That's what's ironic.
No, good thing. Well, he's not a Sporting player anymore. So maybe
Pois. Tá bom.
But like I say, man, like I gotta. Here's the thing that I really think, Bruno. I got a feeling if Portugal starts the game without Ronaldo, I almost think Portugal will play a lot better. The game will flow a lot better for Portugal. I almost think that it's like too much pressure. Everybody looking for Ronaldo all the time. And if Ronaldo is not in the box, if Ronaldo takes 10 steps outside the area to come back, right away they try to pass the ball to him. They don't even look at anybody else. And then he either loses the ball or he makes a bad pass or he takes a horrible shot. So if Ronaldo's in the area, then they can pass the ball between themselves, cross the ball to the area. He can still jump higher than anybody. He can still score goals. But every time you take him out of that box, our game just stops. Our game doesn't flow. We have no clue where to put the ball. We can't fucking put 2 passes together in a row. And I mean, if you take him out of the box, you're taking away the most dangerous player that we have in the box. Mm-hmm. There was times that we were crossing the ball to the box that he wasn't there. And we're crossing these balls to players that are fucking 3 feet tall.
There were nobody. I mean, I didn't. Ironically, they scored 2 goals on headers. Am I correct?
Yeah, Ronaldo.
But they were crossing balls all day long. I don't understand why when Ireland was winning all the headers.
Yeah, especially tons of crosses with Ronaldo not being in the box to 3-foot players. You expect them to get it? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Listen, I can't watch our game the way we play anymore. Fernando Santos, he's completely clueless. He has no clue. There's no clue. I mean, at one point, we're losing 1-0, and he has Danilo warming up. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, I just don't get it anymore. And, I mean, João Mario came in. He played real good. Guedes actually played good. And
he did play well.
But like I say, like, you know, like you want Ronaldo to play, listen, keep Ronaldo in the box, man. Keep him in the box. He's going to cause some damage. You know, he's going to cause some damage in the box. He can still jump higher than everybody else. So just do that. But tell him to be a fixed player.
A fixed 9.
A fixed 9. Not have him, another Pauletta, you know, fixed 9. Not have him come back for balls. Not have him go to the sides. He can't do that anymore, guys. And if you think he can do that, you are completely fucking mistaken.
All right, George, I'm going to ask you for your assessment on this.
On the game, the game itself.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
worried or you knew that it was going to come down?
Oh no, I was worried. Once he missed, once he missed that penalty kick and stuff like that. You know, and then Ireland scored. You know, towards the end of the first half, I was worried. You know, there was changes that Fernando Santos was making that really wasn't. Number one, didn't make sense. Number two, really wasn't working. And Ronaldo's magic. That's, you know, it all came down to it all came down to that. Two great headers. He's a beast in the box, and he saved us again. We never. It seems like we never want to make it easy for us in these qualification games, or and just the whole qualification itself. So it's a good score, but very difficult game. Very, very hard.
Let me ask you this, George, because I see Brian here. Do you agree with the statement? Ronaldo's becoming the Figo of 2002, when everyone was passing it to him and praying.
I mean, I think that's what happens with these big players, right? I think you see the same thing with Messi in the Argentinian team.
Right.
Even when there's other players are better positioned to finalize a play, they always seem to make that extra pass to Messi, and really hasn't worked out for them that well, except for Nelson's favorite competition now with Copa America. But yeah, I think it's
No,
I think
his favorite competition is Brilhante no Bolso.
yeah.
He's always
Hey,
talking about it.
who's the Facebook user that agrees with me? I gotta buy him a drink.
I think it's Captain. I don't know his name. I just know him as Captain.
I gotta buy him a drink. He agrees with
Captain
me. So.
Morgan. We'll call him Captain Morgan.
All right, I gotta buy Captain Morgan a drink then.
There you go. Now there's another thing that I wanted to ask you guys, or ask you, Nelson. Did you agree with Palhinha starting, or would you have preferred someone else? It's Jason, actually. Jason Moda, I think his name is.
Palhinha. I think Palhinha has to start.
Because he's better in the air, or the only thing I'm bringing this up is because when I see like a Ruben Neves, especially with a game against Ireland at home where you're going to possess about or attack 90% of the time, would you want a guy with this little bit more of a construction midfielder versus a player where it's going to be winning balls? But he was more for winning balls and maybe better in the air, but
No, I get your point, but at the same time, I'll be honest with you, we were not very strong back there in a lot of.
in the air.
Yes. Which I was very surprised. Like usually, I mean, and don't get me wrong, Ireland could have scored the second goal and put that game away.
And there was a penalty that wasn't called in their
which
favor.
that was Palhinha. That was Palhinha that came on the back of the guy.
Yeah, he went right through him.
Which listen, if Palhinha, first of all, where the hell was our defense in that play? That's one. I mean, if Pepe goes to cover the other guy, o lateral tem que vir cobrir, and Cancelo was nowhere to be found on that play. So if he wasn't for Palhinha coming right through the guy, that would have been a goal for sure. So I'm glad it wasn't called. Yeah, I think it's probably a penalty, but that game would have been over. So I think that's the dirty work that Palhinha does a lot. I got a feeling if another player was playing at that moment, that guy wouldn't even have contact made.
Yeah, I see your point. I really do. I'm okay with both of them. The one thing I will say, and let's see if George agrees with me, is if they by chance lost this game or even drew, number one, would the qualification be in jeopardy directly as first place? And number two, would you think that would be the end of the line after all these games with Fernando Santos?
No.
I don't think.
I think qualification. I think we will have to start worrying about qualification. But no, I think Fernando Santos will still be there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're stuck with this fucking guy no matter what. Doesn't even matter.
I think he after this one, I think he extended 2 more tournaments.
I think so too. I think he's gonna play the first World Cup in space. I think he's gonna coach that shit.
On the moon. It's very possible. I don't think that he's the right coach. We've been saying this for how long, that he's not the right coach for this team. That he's too defensive. I think a guy that had a pretty decent game, to be honest, was Bernard Silva. I thought he was pretty good.
He was
I
a lot better today. A lot better.
You
Absolutely.
think so? I don't. I think he had a horrible game.
I liked him going inside because he attacked a lot through the middle, and then he was
He
working his
missed.
way
He
out.
missed. He missed. He missed a. He missed a
Missed
wide
a
open
shot.
goal,
Yeah.
a la Brian Ruiz. I think when Bruno Fernandes was subbed out, I think he's the one that should have been subbed out because I think Bruno Fernandes was doing better than him. I
I don't think so. He,
I
he did
didn't.
miss. He did miss a scandalous goal. Oh, by the way, like as you guys know, I'm half Brazilian. One thing I want to say about Jota: horrible second half. Completely disappeared in the second half. And in my country, in Brazil, like a gente chama esses jogadores, o cara é fominha de bola. He doesn't pass the ball. If he gets the ball, guys, forget it. You better be
Não passa
ready.
ninguém.
He's not. Não vai passar ninguém. Just be ready. He's going to take a shot.
George, did you agree that Andres Silva should have been a starter in this game, or not so much?
You already know my feelings about. Let's just start with Ronaldo.
I
think
but
you
I
should-
want you to tell I want you to tell our audience.
No, I think the two starters up front, it has to be Ronaldo and Andres Silva. I mean, it just has to be. I mean, I don't understand. You know, they played 5-6 games for qualification to I don't know what tournament. I think
3 years ago.
2-3 years ago, and they did phenomenal. I don't know. You know, I don't know what changed. I understand that there's a lot of different players that you can look. I said it today in a chat, and I'll say it again. With the amount of skills that we have in our team,
Right.
I think, how should I say this? The amount of skill and the normal politics of the Portuguese Federation and everything involved in Portuguese soccer, you need a foreign coach. Me personally, I think we need a Dutch coach, a coach that plays an offensive soccer. I'm tired of watching this defensive soccer with the skill level of players that we have. I think you need a foreign coach that will make decisions based on how well a player is playing, and not like you say and other people say, who their agent is, and a coach that has an offensive minded. That's offensive minded.
But because of what you just said about the agent, that would never happen. They would never get a foreign coach for that particular reason.
Yeah, but if it's we the people need to put that type of pressure on. When we want change, whatever change we want, we're the ones that have to put that pressure on them. You know what I mean?
Someone in one of my chats asked this question, like, if we see it, how do other people don't see it? And the answer is very simple. It's because they don't want to see it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
They don't wanna see it.
Listen, Bruno, before you were like talking about all the sporting with the injuries and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
About all the sporting players. But I'll tell you one thing, and I want your honest opinion, guys, all right? So Sporting has Mateo Nunes, right? Young kid. I think he's on the up and coming. I think his level is going up. How can this guy, our national team coach,
Not call them.
knowing that this guy can be called up for Brazil, which he did, but I'm glad Sporting is not letting him go because of the COVID restrictions and stuff. We were about to lose a chance of getting this guy. How can our coach, I don't even care if he didn't play or play 2 minutes, how can our coach know that this guy is a good player and pretty much give him up like that? How?
But I don't agree with that. Like
What,
I,
he's
I,
Brazilian?
I, no, not that he's Brazilian. What makes him? Why should he? I don't understand. I don't think he has the skill level to be called to the national team. To be honest with you, I haven't seen enough of him.
He's young though. Don't lose him. That's all I'm saying. Don't lose this guy.
So we're gonna end up doing the same thing that Brazil is doing. You think once he gets called up for Brazil and he plays a game, or you think they're ever gonna call him again?
I don't know, because I don't know where he's going to be 2 years from now. But I know that he's pretty good right now. and I would not want to risk losing him. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. Why do you think Brazil called him up? Do you think Brazil called him up because
But he's
they really
Brazilian.
wanted him?
But he's Brazilian.
Listen, the kid's been in Portugal for a long time. He didn't arrive in Portugal last week. That's one. O Deco teve menos tempo em Portugal e jogou para a seleção de Portugal, and he was a hell of a player for Portugal.
Then why didn't we call Eric Dyer when he was in Portugal, Sporting for 10 years?
Listen, Pep has been probably my favorite center back of all time for the national team.
Me too.
Okay? The guy hustles. So to me, it's not where you were born. To me, it's what you show on the field, and Pep shows it on the field every single fucking time.
Look, I agree with Pep. He's one of my favorite players in the national team. Just not only in the national team as a whole. I just love the way he plays. You know, he's extremist. You know, he was extremist in his past, and he still is once in a while. You know, because he's not playing with the full deck. But I get that. But I you know, there's got to be there's got to be limits. You know,
Limits on what?
need.
Name one national team. I mean, listen, you got Brazilians playing in the Russian national team, dude. Forget the limits.
No,
the limits.
But I don't care. I don't care about the other teams. I care about, you know, the quality.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell me we don't have a better player than Octavio that was born in Portugal? Are you kidding me?
Let's be honest, George. Why was that happen? That's a move so Porto could sell him at the end of the season.
You know what I mean? You're telling me that we don't have a better player than Matheus Nunes right now we don't have a better player than Matheus Nunes.
Listen, George.
In our national team.
This is the good thing about the show. Like, we don't have to agree on everything that I'm.
No, of course. Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like mesmo quando eu tô certo, like you don't have to agree. I appreciate that. Listen, only one of us can be right, which is probably me. But listen, I respect your opinion.
Who was the forward? I mean, the only position that we really ever needed help was on the forward position. Who was the forward a couple of years ago that we were waiting for him to be called up, and they never called him up? I forgot who it was. Yeah.
What team did he play for?
No, we called up Lee Edson.
No, it wasn't Lee.
It wasn't Lee Edson.
Diego Souza.
It was more recent. Diego Souza, maybe nah.
No,
maybe it was Diego Souza got called by Spain. No, what do you mean Diego Souza?
You're thinking of Diego Costa. Diego Souza.
What do you mean Diego Souza? What are you talking
The guy
about?
from Braga. He got called to the national team.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Diego Souza.
And what happened to him? How many games did he play? How many games did he play?
But that was to sell him. That was a jugada. You know. Now I will say this. I saw David Pereira mention it earlier in the comments. I think that Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo are incompatible, and they're going to struggle at Manchester United.
Okay, can I comment on that?
I don't think so.
I see what you're saying, and this goes back to what I said before, because Ronaldo likes to come back, and he likes to come back, and once he's there, he wants the ball, even if he fucks up the next pass. And that's the area that Bruno Fernandes roams around. You cannot have the two players in the same spot. If you're going to have them both in the same spot, you're going to have issues. And I think that's probably what David is talking about, because Ronaldo likes to roam around and likes to come back, and that's the spot where Bruno likes to create shit.
No, so, I think Ronaldo likes to. I think Ronaldo likes to run around, come back and run around when he's not getting the ball. You're gonna have Bruno Fernandes, you're gonna have Pogba, you're gonna have the whole team playing for him. He's not gonna have a problem getting the ball.
I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a little bad chemistry over there, and I think we're gonna see it soon.
I think it's gonna be the best show on earth.
I think Ronaldo's game has to change, and I don't know why people don't see that.
Changed to what? His game has changed. He's a 9. He's a 9 now. He was never a 9 before.
He's still not a 9 though. He still comes out too much, man. Too much. Even Paulinho, that distributes game, doesn't come out as much as Ronaldo comes out.
You
Season
still have,
Season
you want
Paulinho.
to you
Vocês
comparing
não Paulinho na seleção. Precisam de um Paulinho.
comparing Paulinho. Ai. No, I think he's going to do well at Man United.
Listen, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, and now you're talking about a different coach with a different philosophy, a different vision. That could happen, but I think that there's going to be some type of conflict or some type of incompatibility with those two. But we'll have to wait and see. Guys, anything else that you guys want to cover, because we're almost at an hour, and I know that we got buckets to take out.
No, man, I keep getting alerts about floods, dude. Like since the show started, I got about 50 alerts about floods, like all
Yeah.
around me.
Anyone that's listening to us that is from the New Jersey area or tri-state area, make sure you stay safe and make sure that you run for cover, man, because this is going to go all the way to 2 a.m. in the morning, and it's not going to look good. So, if you guys don't have anything else to say, we'll wrap it up. Make sure you hit like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you tell your friends to come join. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, just stay safe, everyone.
All right, guys. It was a pleasure. We'll see each other next week. All right.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye. Good night.
Ciao.
Good night.